Hey everybody, Logan here. Some news, some news. I didn't expect to see this. So, I read this today on a couple of different sites, and once I finally saw it pop up with a little more detail, I was like, okay, I have to report this. So, by the time you're seeing it, it's happened all day yesterday, which was June 14th. You're watching this early morning. Well, depending on when you're watching this, just goes up early on June 15th. So, what has happened here in the United States? The FTC has decided to file a temporary order, restraining order against Microsoft. Why? From buying Activision Blizzard. Let's get into it. This article, Pure Xbox, I saw it on a couple of other places, but you know how I am. I like how they get to the point here. So let's read this. So, judge grants FTC's temporary restraining order against Xbox and Activision Blizzard. Preliminary injunction to be decided later this month. But this is crazy. Well, with all the nonsense going on with Call of Duty, maybe Microsoft will think twice about purchasing the company. Honestly, at this point, this doesn't sound like a good deal. Maybe Microsoft should think about it, but hey, that's not what this video is about. This video is about the FTC and Xbox. This is nuts. Earlier this week, the FTC filed a request for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction against Microsoft's attempted takeover of Activision Blizzard, and a U.S. judge has now granted the request for that restraining order. Wow. The next step is for the court to decide about whether to grant the FTC's preliminary injunction, which will be determined on June 22nd and June 23rd. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard will also submit a brief in opposition to this. In response to The Verge, a Microsoft spokesperson had this following to say, The Verge, quote, accelerating the legal process in the U.S. will ultimately bring more choice and competition to the gaming market. A temporary restraining order makes sense until we can receive a decision from the court, which is moving swiftly, end quote. Accelerating the legal process in the U.S. will ultimately bring more choice and competition to the gaming market. That sounds like a bunch of BS, but hey, the idea behind this temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction is to ensure Microsoft and Activision Blizzard can't close their deal before the FTC has had a chance to determine whether it violates U.S. antitrust laws. We're expecting to hear more about the situation between Microsoft, Activision Blizzard, and the FTC later this month. Wow. Okay. Wow. Here we go. Yeah, here's more related articles to it. That's crazy. Let's see what this one says. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of the same thing. This was last year. Yeah, this was last year. So this is the most recent one. This was earlier today. So like I said, I saw it in a couple different places. This one came up today. This is big. If the FTC is going to say, hey, no, you guys can't do this, we need to determine whether or not this is going to be a good or a bad thing. I have a feeling this thing's going to fall apart. With Microsoft trying to monopolize the gaming industry, and yet their console not doing so well, their games showcase was, my opinion, a pretty big flop. They showed Fable, which was a disaster. People are just, and it's Forza. Hey, great, we're finally getting a date. But what about Perfect Dark? We didn't see any of that. People wanted more Gears. There was no new Gears. And, there was a lot of rumors about some old franchises making returns, and we saw none of that. And there's some people saying, hey, it's so great. But, it feels like they were paid to do that. Honestly, most people I know, we've talked about it. I've seen a lot of videos and people go, this was sad. This was a sad showcase. Overall, the showcases this summer, the Summer Game Fest was pretty all right. I think it was okay. In general, I give it a C plus, B minus, somewhere in between there. It wasn't terrible. No, Capcom's, that wasn't necessary. And then Ubisoft's was kind of meh. So yeah, the Division. Oh, this looks great. Oh, it's a mobile game. So Microsoft's not the only one having their woes, but it's been far too long that Microsoft has been playing catch up to Sony and Nintendo here, especially. You know, they're big one. They see Sony with the PlayStation brand as their biggest rival, and now what they thought might be the ace in the hole, the ace up their sleeve, if you will, to purchase Activision and make Call of Duty. Rumor had it that they were going to make Call of Duty exclusive after the 10 years thing, but now Call of Duty seems to be a tainted brand, and with the boycott going on, I think it's even worse. This might be the downfall or the beginning of the end. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. There's just so much news, so much heat towards these brands right now, being with Activision Blizzard and the Microsoft Xbox brand. There's just a lot of heat right now, and it's probably smart if the other companies just lie low and let them get through this before they start taking any pot shots or anything, or try to do their thing, because Sony tried, didn't seem to work. But hey, whew, this is some serious stuff, and what a time to come out. The news doesn't wait for anybody. These big deals don't wait for anybody. So, hey, tell me what you guys think about this. Do you think this is going to hurt the acquisition? Do you think this is it for the Xbox Activision Blizzard merger, acquisition, whatever you want to call it? Do you think this is the end? Might just be. Tell me what you guys think. Drop it in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about this. Probably going to talk about this maybe next week, along with a lot of other information on the first episode back. I think that would be episode 9 of the Ready to Start podcast. Thank you guys for hanging in there for these last few weeks, not having an episode or any live streams, but thank you. I appreciate it. We'll be back full bore next week. Thank you guys so much. Like we always say, be legendary. Hit that subscribe button, and thanks again.